What's up, everybody? Welcome to World at War Comics. Back again, Mr. Thomas Healy. Thomas, always a pleasure to have you, man. Big fan of yours. Love it when you come on, man. I always learn something in the Spawn universe that I didn't realize took place, man. You're just a world of knowledge. Great to have you back, my friend.
Tommy, it is phenomenal to be here. Thank you so much, and thank you for everybody in the chat for joining.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We got some awesome folks in the chat. We got our good friend Mr. Corey here. Always shows up, especially when we have Spawn-related creators and artists and all that good stuff. Corey, good to see you, man. Hopefully everything's good with the family. One of my favorite.
I want to point out that Corey does get to count himself in the esteemed league of Spawn creators. He's done some incredible ink work over Brett Booth of all people, and that is not an easy task. Sure. Brett Booth is a beast to ink. Even Todd admits that. And Corey did one of my favorite pages, which was this incredible werewolf spread that he did early on when Brett had just started on Gunslinger. And it was funny because we actually had 3 inkers on that book. It just got a little bit behind. And when we were divvying up the pages, no offense to Corey, but he was the low man on the totem pole, and nobody wanted to do that double page spread. They're like, oh, this could take forever. I don't want to do it. And so it's like, Corey, this is the one you get. Here you go. And man, he killed it. He absolutely killed it. I really hope, and this is something I lament, because we are seeing more and more creators that just go straight to their own inks. They're doing digital or they ink themselves. And I feel like it's becoming I'm not going to say a dying art, but it is a lost art. And we have so many great inkers like Corey and Steve Lachowski and these guys that are like these great up and comers. And there's just not as much work as there was 10 years ago. Yeah. Because so many people are just like, they just do everything on their iPad. So I really hope that that's something that gets kind of a revival going, because I want to see work from these guys.
No, absolutely. Corey's amazing. And Corey, thank you for joining us. Talk about baptism by fire, though, man. A double spread from Brett. Welcome to the Spawn universe, Corey.
Yeah, it was basically what that was. Trial by fire, man. Have fun walking over these coals.
Exactly. We got Kaibar here, man. Another awesome contributor to the Spawn universe, man.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah. And he gets to do, not only does he do some great covers for us, but they put his incredible art on the Delcourt, the French edition releases. And it just looks so good because they don't do monthlies. They just do these kind of like hardcover anthologies. And I saw the last one that had an incredible keybar piece on it. So yeah, I'm excited that him and I have become friends. We get to kind of hang out a little bit at these shows. So good stuff, good times.
He's awesome, man. I was with I went to Ty's house, the Spawn Hunter. It was about a year ago, and if you want to see an amazing Spawn collection, it's like a museum. I mean, he has pieces from the movie. I mean, it's crazy. But he gave me a Japanese issue 5, and like you said, it's more like a trade, and it carries, I think, like 4 or 5 issues, but it's all in Japanese. One of my treasures that I have in my Spawn collection. I assume it's a little bit familiar to like the French and some of the other European countries where they're taking like 4 or 5 US issues like monthly into one, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. That's so cool, man. Then we got Will giving me a hard time with Spawn. He knows how much I love Spawn. What's up, Will? His outlet. He likes Spawn too. He's just giving me a hard time, man.
It is in fact still a thing. Last I checked my paycheck. It's still happening, so we're all good.
We got Matt in the house. What's up, Matt? Evening. My good friend Irene with Raymond. What's up, Irene? Good to have you.
Oh yeah, Irene and Raymond are phenomenal. Just got back from Santa Fe with them.
Yeah,
had a very interesting show there.
Okay, you have to dig into interesting a little bit later. I like how you said that. They were in San Antonio about, God, Irene, when was that? It was probably 2 months ago now at SpaceCon, or no, at Big Texas Con. And actually, I think the art right here, man. Raymond did a cover for me.
Nice. Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Incredible. I got a couple other things signed by him, but I had him do a cover, and yeah. Aribe did one for me too. I don't know if he's going to be on tonight. I was talking to him earlier, but look at that one, the Gunslinger.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, those guys are just amazing. There's Corey. I told you that I was going to be quitting my job, and you tried to put a stop to that real quick.
Corey, you absolutely have the skills to do it. It was just a weird industry. Just want to be upfront.
I love it. Irene giving some hearts there. Love it.
Yeah. Oh, Pig Taint. Yeah. So that's our secret band that we founded in Santa Fe.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it has a lot of secret meetings as well. But yes, if you see that means you're in good company.
Oh, nice. I love it. I love it. Well, Thomas, man, I'm so happy to have you back. Obviously, Black Ritual, Nick's fan favorite. I think, what was it, issue 122? Was that her first appearance? If I'm not mistaken.
122.
122.
If I'm remembering correctly, yes.
So we got all the Black Ritual. Nice. I will tell you, I jumped into issue 6, and I loved like some of the newer Spawn universe. If you really like what's going on in other books, you're gonna have a lot of fun at the end of issue 6. I was like, oh,
yeah.
Which was awesome.
And that's kind of like what we were talking about earlier. Like everyone always makes these kind of spiderweb thread connections to Al Simmons and stuff, and it's been 370 plus issues of that. We know he is the center of this universe, and I have really great friends and people that I adore working on these other books. Tim Seeley, Joseph Village, Christian Rosado, obviously on Bloodletter, and then two of my absolute favorite people in the world, Daniel Enriquez and Jonathan Galapian. And can't not include FCO Placencia in that for that creative team. But I'd reached out to them, was like, hey, I'm just going to do this little thing. And like at first, because Daniel, I will say, in my estimation, out of the people that I work with, is probably the most knowledgeable Spawn fan, because he is a fan first, and now he is also a creator. But when we're like, what was that one, or what was that, did this character, like, I will check with Daniel, and he knows it. He has an encyclopedic knowledge of that. And so I was asking him, I was like, hey guys, I want to throw a couple of characters in there. And at first he was like, well, what's the time frame, because doesn't your book take place in the past and ours is kind of taking place in the present? I'm like, Daniel, it's a comic book and time and hell moves differently. Can we just move with this? And he's like, okay, yeah, we're good.
I can see Daniel doing that, being all worried about that, man. I love that.
Yes. Corey said Daniel could argue Spawn lore against Todd and come out victorious. I believe that is a correct statement.
Especially with some of the stories that we've heard about Todd, man. He's so funny. Yeah. Like one of the most famous ones, right, is Spawn's cape, I think, which he has kind of talked about a couple of times. He goes, well, it's living, right? It's so funny when you read that story of how that all came about.
Oh, the whole costume. He would forget where to put the spikes and how many, and then because like everyone's like, oh, they just made another symbiote after he made Venom. I'm like, that wasn't the plan. He's admitted that was not the plan. It just became that because deadlines, and he forgot how many spikes were on the arms. So it constantly moved and changed. Pouches were in different spots. So living suit, but it worked out well. It worked out well for it.
I think it's done okay.
I think it's gonna stick around. I think it's got some legs.
I think it's got some legs. I think
it's got some legs.
You did okay, kid. You did okay.
Yeah.
What's up, Peter Parker? Look at that.
Oh yeah, he was. He was there for it. It's Jonathan. So
yeah, Jonathan.
So yeah, so we wanted to make some connections to some of the other characters in the universe that kind of were making their come ups, and I reached out to Joe and Tim, and at some point we would still love to do a crossover between Nyx and Tasha. Hopefully we get to the point where we can tell Nyx's story where she's now in the present day of the universe, because she's currently the Queen of Hell, and you're limited what you can do when you're that level. I would love, and this is both as a writer of that character, but also as the EIC, I would love to bring Nyx into the present day universe, not as Queen of Hell, and just be a person, just bring her back to her roots.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So, well, maybe you can't say anything because we have a 7-part issue, right? This is our arc for Black Ritual. Are we going to see some more then?
I don't know yet. I don't know yet. We're still going through our schedule for 2026. You know, we went really, really hard for the last 2 years. A
Yes.
lot of books, and it was a lot of experimenting from Todd and I, because you know they've had mini series in the past, but I don't know that there's ever been more than 2, maybe 3 titles coming out at any one time. And we didn't just do some mini series; we did some ongoings as well. And the ongoings seem to be doing really, really well for us. Obviously, we're celebrating right now. Gunslinger just hit Kingspawn hit issue 50. Gunslinger and Scorched are both going to hit issues 50 in the next couple of months. So when we started this,
Yeah.
even Todd was like, we can get 15 issues out of these miniseries. That'd be pretty good. That's a year's worth of stuff. That's a hardcover. Like 15 would be cool. And now we're going on issue 50.
Yeah.
On some of these books. And it's just absolutely insane to us that in the middle of COVID, when we decided to expand the universe, it worked. But we realized we put a lot out, you know, the Medieval Spawn miniseries, Monolith, Misery, Sam and Twitch, a lot of books out there. Now we've got Dark Ages coming. We've still got Spawn 77. So there's a lot of stuff on people's plates, and we don't want to. There you go. That came out today. And we don't want to overload the readers. Even though I've said it before, we don't expect you to read everything, just read the ones you want. Not every book is necessarily going to appeal to every reader, but hopefully we're offering a variety, and that's what we're trying to do.
Between you and me, Thomas, I'm not too sure, at least within that Spawn community, I think everybody's getting everything, man.
No, I know. And that is, I see the comments, and hey, I appreciate that. That's great. That puts food on my family and my team's family's table. We love that, and we appreciate that. Yeah. But our goal was not to just get you to buy everything. Our goal really was to just create an expansive universe, much like Marvel or DC, because I don't know anybody. I'm sure they're out there, but I don't know everybody that goes, oh, I buy every single DC book.
Yeah.
Or I buy every single Marvel. They might go, I read all the X-Men books. Yeah. Or I'm a big fan of the Avengers and Captain America, so I get all of those books. Right. But nobody buys, not a lot of people buy them all. And that's what we were hoping to do as well, is just give some options to go, I don't really like Westerns, but my friend does. I'm going to recommend Deadly Tales because that's Jimmy Palmiotti and Patrick Reynolds. And my God, that book looks amazing. Yeah. So hopefully that's what we're going to do. So we're leading into 2026 now, and we realized we had 2 really big years, a lot of books. We're hitting these 50s, and those have a couple of ratio variants, which we do not typically do. But Todd wanted to do something special. And then that big special thing was him doing original sketches, which is something, as the hardcore Spawn fans and guys like Daily Spawn Archive and you and Ty, you know that is not common. Yeah, there's a few that are floating around. I know Jonathan's got one in his book that he's got from Todd, but he doesn't do a lot of original art anymore. And that was something he wanted to do for all of these releases. So we're not looking to kill everybody's wallet. So leading into 2026, other than some stuff that's already been announced, we are going to slow down a little bit. So some of those miniseries that we do have plans to touch base with, again, Black Ritual, Medieval Spawn, Misery, Bloodletter, they're not on the schedule yet. Okay. We're going to get through some of the ones that have been announced. We've got Spawn 77 and the She Spawn mini by Gail Simone. We're going to keep you guys, your wallets intact this year. We want to get some more of the trades out. We've got some interesting stuff, but we're probably not going to be doing another large batch of mini series or new series that are going to be dropping.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I'm
going to be fighting for more Black Ritual every time Todd and I are having a conversation. I'm bringing it up, and I loved Bloodletter, so I'm going to fight for both of those books.
There's a couple legends on Bloodletter too, man. I'm big fans of Tim, and that's awesome series. Jonathan, Mr. Jonathan Reba, we were just talking, Jonathan, about your gunslinger you did for me in Texas, man. Looks amazing. Hopefully you and your wife are doing well. They're the dynamic duo that's always together. Corey says, love seeing the Focus appear in the main title. Hopefully that means we're going to get more of him in that solo title.
Oh, sorry. I muted myself because I was coughing a little bit there. No, yes, you are absolutely going to see a little bit more of him in the main title and potentially some other spots.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He is a character that we definitely want to explore more. And there's some plans for that character.
That's amazing. Yeah. Definitely kudos to the entire team over at McFarlane Productions. I mean, all of you Thomas. It's amazing how much you're pumping out and doing it still at a price that's so affordable. Like when everyone's hitting 4, 5, 6, 7.99 now on some of these titles. I mean, some of the biggest kind of, I don't want to say complaints, but worries is like, man, that takes my, that's like an extra 4 comic books I would have bought if I'm going to have to spend that much. So, hopefully people don't have to cut back. I know prices are going up and stuff, but you guys always seem to be able to figure out how to make it as affordable as possible. And I know that Todd always mentioned that's really important to him. So, $2.99 for a long, long time. Now $3.99, which is very fair.
$2.99 for I think 22 years.
That's
we were it. Now I'm not saying there wasn't a rando self-publishing his own book and selling it at $2.99, but through any of the major publishers that were going through Diamond and then into Lunar, we were the last one. We were the last one at Image, and we were the last one from any of the major publishers. And it was many years of I would getting calls from Eric Stevenson, publisher at Image, going, "Hey, do you think we can get Todd to go to $3.99 now?" I'm like, "You can ask, but he's going to say no." And I think the big impetus was, we switched over to the nice interior paper and the cardstock, and then that just became standard for us. Todd was just like, "I can't go back now. This looks so good." It's like they ship well, because I remember like when I started on issue 304 was the first issue I was credited in. 303 was the first issue I did any work on. Okay. But I remember that was before the cardstock cover, and like, man, we'd get books and they would just be beat to hell. Yeah. And I get it, man. People want CGCs or even just for their own personal collection. They just want good quality. So when we switched over to that, we were not necessarily going to do that for every book every single month. And we just started getting them in, and Todd was just like, "This looks really good." And then a bunch of other Image creators started doing it on theirs, and it kind of became a regular thing. And then some of the other companies were doing like, "Here's your regular cover for $3.99, but you can get the cardstock for $4.99, but it's the same book." And it's like, well, that's just kind of weird. So we couldn't go back from that because it just looked too good. But we still held on for $2.99. And then it came down to when the tariffs hit and the paper, there was a huge paper shortage for a while that a lot of people were not aware about. And it just made sense for just overall. Eric was like, "Look, you guys are the one outlier. We just need you to do that because for our costing and everything, it's just easier to do it." And we did it. And again, we still kind of lament when we have to do a $4.99 or a $5.99. We just did I Saw Santa, which was like almost triple size issue. Yeah. And we tried to keep that still at a decent price point for $5.99. But you'll see, for the most part, we're staying at $3.99 for pretty much everything. Yeah. And we're gonna probably do that hopefully for another 20 years. Until Eric is in his 90s and Todd's 103 and they're arguing about going to $4.99 at that point.
You guys have like the Costco hot dog pricing in comic books, man.
Exactly. It's a great one. Yes.
We got Jeff Monk in the house. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, one of my favorites, Jeff Monk. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, Monk is awesome, man. What's up, Matt? Oh, I said hi to Matt. Corey, yeah. A lot of everybody on here, man. Thank you, Jonathan. Lots of fans, man. Everyone's loving everything that's taking place right now in the Spawn universe. Absolutely loving it. I did, we talked a little bit about it, but today this is the latest title. With another book with your name on it, Thomas. I don't know. We were talking about before. How are you getting through all of this from an editor standpoint and still being able to do everything you're doing with Black Ritual and now Sam and Twitch, man? You got to be one of the hardest working people in comics right now.
It's called excessively high blood pressure, and I take Losartan every day. And I can't drink caffeinated coffee anymore. I'm on decaf only. That's it. It's just it takes a toll on you for sure. But it's one of those things that people are just gonna get into a job where they love.
Yeah.
And they're gonna just try to keep on keeping on. And I have an incredibly good support staff. Yeah. Yvette and Zabriel and Ryan and Amani are absolutely phenomenal. A lot of people know Shannon and Lauren, who run the PR. Everyone knows Shannon with the purple hair. Yeah. If you've been to a show where Todd's at, she's the one that's just maintaining control. She is the ringmaster, so she's phenomenal along with Lauren. I have a great wife who But she knows, like, I
Must
could be
very understanding.
She's incredibly understanding. She's incredibly understanding. And she just knows that, like, I'm going to get upset about really stupid, inconsequential things, and it's going to affect my mood. And she just lets it happen. And she's like, I know. Because before this, I used to work for hospice. And that is a true stress-inducing situation. You're dealing with, for those that don't know hospice, you're dealing with people at end of life. And that was an incredibly rewarding job. And I loved it, and it was just time for me to move on. So now I sometimes sit and I go, I can't believe I'm getting upset about this. These are comic books. If this book is delayed 1 week, it doesn't affect anybody's life.
Yeah.
And as Irene pointed out, Shilajit is amazing.
Yeah.
It's a weird. We were talking about homeopathic recipes and taking like turmeric so your joints don't hurt. Shilajit's amazing because I don't do caffeine a whole lot anymore. Yeah. And it's like this weird resin that's scraped off of rocks in the Himalayan mountains, and you get it like it's like really thick. No, it's like a thick, almost like tar.
Oh, wow.
Really, really thick. And you just like dissolve a little bit of it in hot water and you drink it like a tea. But like I'm wired and focused for like the next couple of hours afterwards. It's really good. Yeah.
I'll have to find that. Yeah.
Amazing. I'm trying to get her and Ray to, not necessarily her, but more Ray to wean off of the Monsters and the energy drinks and the Red Bulls, because I need my boy to live.
Yes.
I don't want to hear that his heart exploded. So Raymond, please live.
Hey, Irene, have that talk, Irene. I love it. Well, let's jump in a little bit. I mean, so we just got Sam and Twitter. I think this was last week, right? Issue.
Is that 19? Issue 19?
Yeah, 19.
So that's the first issue of my series, Phantoms of the Past.
So I mean, we're at issue 19, another one of these titles that have gone on, I think, longer than a lot of fans were expecting. I wasn't sure if it was going to be a 12-part series. Then we heard that there's going to be different writers coming in with different stories at certain times, which I absolutely love that idea. So now the buck has been passed to you, Thomas. We start off with Phantoms of the Past Part 1 in issue 19. And so I would love to know, Thomas, like when did this story kind of take place with all the things that you're doing? How long you've been sitting on this story, and finally getting your opportunity? Because I thought it was actually earlier than
I don't know if I've told you. I don't know if I told this story before. I don't know if I told it on this show. Mm-hmm. This was an oddball way of me getting this particular gig. I have seen people on the Facebook groups or in the Reddit, and like, my name's on a book as, a writer, and somebody commented, "Oh, it must be really nice being editor-in-chief. You can just put your name on a book and you're now the creator of that book. And now you've got that gig." And it's like, bro, I've been there 6 years. You want to know how many stories I pitched to Todd? Well over a dozen, and shot down every time. And I've learned that is this industry. Ask Jeff, ask Jonathan, ask the gentleman, the artists in the chats. I didn't take the first cover. We gave them feedback over and over until finally one day it was just like, oh, and there it is. That's what we wanted. So Todd listened to me very, very patiently, and he was a saint for it. And so I pitched a lot. And he approved Black Ritual when we pitched it. So that was already started. And then the first arc with Sam and Twitch was Todd and Shimon Kudransky. And then it was Jordan Burrell and Thomas Knocklick. And so we needed to get that next run started. And Todd was going to do like, well, I'm going to write it. I've got an idea. And I was like, cool, who are we going to have? And we had an opening for Von Randall, who I love working with. He's a great guy. And so Von was like, I totally want to do this. So we got on a call. Everything's happening. Todd's going to write. Von's going to draw, and we're good. A week goes by, and Von's like, "Hey, I don't have any plot yet. Can I get some plot? I got to start working." I bug Todd. Nothing. He just doesn't get to it. A million other things happening. 2 or 3 weeks go by, and Von's like, and I'm giving Von some covers. He's like, "Yeah, covers are great, but like, I'm an interior artist. I want to start working on this book." Like, I turned down a gig, and so it was like a Friday, and I was like, he needs something, and I just wrote 5 pages of a kind of a generic opening. It's just the opening with Sam. That was what I was thinking about. This is how they're getting their new case.
Yeah. And
I sent that off, and he's like, "This is great. I'm going to do it." And we're still bugging. And then Todd still didn't get more. And I sent that to Todd. I was like, "Here's the plot. You pick up my threads." And Todd, I don't think he even read it. So I gave Vaughn 5 more pages, and he finished them all, and he sent an email. This is when Todd was still living in Phoenix, and he sent an email to Todd and me and said, "Hey, here's the inked pages, the first 10 pages. I'm ready for the second half of the plot." And I get that email, and I went, because I hadn't told Todd that I was doing this. You know, my favorite expression, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is for permission.
Absolutely.
And so I see that email and I went, oh no. And then all of a sudden, not 2 minutes later, Todd opens my door. Hey, I'm like, hey, what's up? He's like, did you find like an old Sam and Twitch script or something on the server or something? I'm like, no, I have that. He's like, well, then what is Vaughn drawing? I'm like, it's the plot I sent him. He's like, you just sent him plot. I'm like, dude, it's been over a month. He needed to get working. I told you this. Told you this. And he went, you did. He goes, what's it about? And I told him what it was about. And he goes, and how many issues? I'm like, it's a full arc.
Yeah,
I can do. And he goes, okay. And that was it. And I know everybody that wants to break into the industry is like, man, that sucks. Because that was right time, right situation.
Sure.
It had nothing to do with my skills or my talents. I was right there and I knew what was needed. That being said, however, then when Black Ritual came out, I was like, actually, I really like your stuff. And then you read the first issue of that and you were, I'm really glad you got that. I'm really glad we put you on the book. I'm excited to see where this goes. So it did work out.
Nice.
It did work out, but that's how that started. Was we were just waiting, and it was just like, I need to get this to work. We're not going to be able to stop the issues, so here it is. And so now we're going to, and we'll finish up that whole arc.
Yeah. And how many issues is the arc of your Sam and Twitch?
I believe it's going to be 6.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Has there been an announcement of like the next arc of writers, or we haven't got that far yet?
No, we have not got that far yet.
Yeah.
I think we only solicited up to like 24.
Oh, okay. I love that you're like writers and artists are coming in and taking over every 6 or something like that. I think that is like, to have a title like that within the portfolio of titles where you could get a lot of people work, you're getting a lot of new ideas. I think that's awesome. I don't know. I love it, man. So in Sam and Twitch, right, you have a retirement and they're starting to go through some photos and all of a sudden it just opens up a whirlwind of all kinds of things going on. Can you kind of talk through like the beginning of that plot right there?
Yeah, it's basically, it's a day after a long shift, and Sam just wanted to get home, and he basically just wanted to sit back and eat a pizza and watch the game. And he was given a box of old case files from a recently retired officer named Jack O'Shea.
Yeah, Jack.
And he's just like, oh, I get the shit job. But they know Sam's a good cop. Him and Twitch, they're always on the shit list because they've got some odd theories, but they know they're true, and not everybody is aware of that. But so they're given the weirdo cases, the stuff that nobody really wants to touch. And because Sam is a very good detective, the captain basically was like, hey, just go through these files, see if there's anything worth picking up, or we're going to send these to cold cases. And they end up coming across a file that has incredible similarities to a victim from one of their first cases together 15 years ago when they just became partners. And it's called the Malwitz case. And so Sam realizes there's no way this could be the same guy. There's no way that this should be able to be replicated because we didn't release all of this. So what the hell's happening? It looks like this guy that retired wasn't even really working it. He was just sitting on it. So he kind of takes it upon himself. And then unfortunately, he starts having these nightmares again, reliving some of these events from that first interaction. And we'll just kind of leave it at that. And you're kind of seeing how, again, the phantoms of the past and how this affected their partnership over these years. And even Twitch knows, like, I know this case is a special thing for you. So we're gonna work on it. We're gonna figure this out and figure out what's going on. And I, as someone who grew up in New York and New York City, I really wanted some very real places in there. So there's a spot called McFarlane's, which is my absolute favorite bar in New York. So every New York Comic Con, I always take a group of people there. I absolutely love McFarlane's, and I took photos from the last time I was there to send Devon Randall. So I was like, don't make it look like this. I
Yeah.
want it to be this. Like, and the interior is exactly that. The
No
interior
way.
is there's sawdust on the floor. There's this old bar from like 1865, and
That's
he just nailed it. So we actually sat at that table this past New York Comic Con and had some beers. So
that is so cool, Thomas, man. I
yeah.
love it, man. Yeah, Hernandez, the plot is awesome. I love the middle of the night Twitch, always rubbing his eyes, but always willing to back up Sam. Like you said, he knew how important this was.
Yeah, that was actually
Right
one of the pages that Todd came to me and said, "Hey, I'm not going to rewrite you really." Because he does a lot of rewriting for pretty much every book, just because he knows what he wants.
there. Mhm.
And he's like, "You nailed that." Todd's really big on wanting realistic dialogue, meaning I don't want to hear superhero monologues.
Mhm.
I don't want to hear the hero going, "How dare you attack the fine citizens of this city? I will never let." He doesn't want any of that. He goes, "Go watch Saving Private Ryan. Those are superheroes in a war, just
Yeah.
like this. They don't have powers, they've got guns." But the dialogue in those tense situations was very realistic. And the movie we use for the most when I'm talking to a new writer is I always make sure that they've seen Sicario. It's
Mm.
a phenomenal movie by Taylor Sheridan. But again, it's a black ops team and dealing with cartels and stuff like that. But all of the dialogue and the heat of the moment is really realistic. And it's not this quippy back and forth like the Expendables is. It's real people in life or death situations. And I'm not saying that they're always super serious. There can be a little bit a moment of levity, but for the most part, the conversations are short, brief, and important. So when I had that scene, I knew exactly I was going to write it where he basically goes, "Twitch, it's the Malwitz case." After Twitch is like, "You got to come back. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to sleep. It's the
Yeah.
Malwitz case." There isn't a, was it really important? He knows how important this is to Sam. So his thing is, "Give me 5 minutes. I'm going to get my coat.
Yeah.
I know I'm not going to take you away from this right now. So let's go."
Yeah.
Because it has to happen. And so he was like, "That's it. That's it." I'm like, "Well, I've heard you complain for the last 5 years. I know what you don't want. So I'm trying to give you what you want, Todd." And it worked.
Yeah.
So the last, so 2 issues have gone to print already. And I just actually sent the last of the plot to Vaughn, the last 5 pages of the third issue of our story, actually right before this call. So
I love it, man.
he's ready to work on that now.
And Vaughn's art is so amazing. I mean, look at some of the art here.
Yeah, I like his really gritty style. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
that would necessarily work on every issue of Spawn or a Scorched book, but I really like that. To answer Jeff's question,
Yeah.
I did not seek permission to use that. One, because it was my photos of the situation, but when I was there, I actually had a printout of the book. So I actually showed the bartender that was there, and I thought they would think it was way cooler than it was. And he goes, "Oh no, that's really, really cool." And then like 10 minutes later, he brought over the next round and he pulled up on his phone. He went, "Oh yeah, here's when we were in a Deadpool comic." And he's showing
Oh,
me a couple panels of Deadpool at the bar. And I'm like, "Oh man, I
ouch.
wasn't even the first." And then he's like, "Oh, hold on, we're not done." And then he goes back and he goes, they were in a Wonder Woman comic from the 50s.
No way.
Yes, because it was right before they allowed women to go into the bar to drink. It was a men's only bar. And the comic was Wonder Woman trying to get a drink and the bartender having to kick her out. So
That's
I'm like, "Oh, okay, great minds then. Great minds think alike."
yeah. Yeah. Irene says just forgiveness. Ask for
Just
forgiveness.
forgiveness. Yeah.
We're starting to see a theme, Thomas.
Oh yeah. That's why everyone's mad at me all the time.
No, being the AIC for the last 6 years or so, and then obviously having a history in the comic book store, like what are some of the influence? Obviously, Todd, I would assume would be a influence over your writing style. Are there others, especially being so involved in every single issue, looking over dialogue? Like, has there been a couple people that you've kind of grabbed how they approach comic book writing that has helped you in your comic book writing?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. I'm sure that any of the wonderful artists in the chat right now, Jeff or Jonathan, Kibar, Corey, any of those artists that have put doodle on a piece of paper. They've all been inspired by another artist. They've all, even if they're not trying to ape the style or replicate it, but it was an art style that they liked. So that's always going to stick with them. And I think the same thing goes with a lot of writers. You like certain things, and so you tend to follow them. Like I never followed artists on books. I followed writers. I liked, it didn't even matter if it was a particular character that I loved, I was going to follow it up. So I have a lot of writers that I'm a big fan of, that I like that style. Matt Fraction being one who's fairly big. He does, obviously he's doing a new Batman book right now, but it's mostly his creator owned stuff or his oddball stuff, like Casanova, one of my favorite books of all time. His Adventure Man stuff, really, really enjoyed. So it's stuff like that. I was always a big fan of Warren Ellis as far as what his writing is concerned. It's easy to say Grant Morrison and Alan Moore, but I mean, a lot of people do. But I like the more oddball stuff from those two. But that's really it. I wouldn't say that Todd has been a big influence on me specifically as a writer. As a comic businessman, his knowledge is invaluable. I have learned more about the industry working for him than I could ever possibly learn working for anybody else. He knows, he lives and breathes comics, and every side of it, every facet, from just being a pay to work creator to owning and running Image to being the writer artist on Spawn through 30 plus years of history. He's absolutely incredible. But writing, the only aspect of it is it's shaped what I know he wants versus what he'll go, no, we're gonna cut that. I don't want that in the book. He likes to take it a little bit more seriously. In a lot of books, that even in a Batman book, they'll throw in the occasional joke where Batman might be the butt of a joke. It'd have to be a really damn good joke to Todd to approve that for a Spawn book. So there's just rules. There's rules to what Spawn can and what you as a writer can and cannot do to Spawn. But that's really it. It's just kind of it's writers that I enjoyed. I like short, like staccato back and forth dialogue. I like that a lot. I don't necessarily have a ton of pages with lots of things. I don't use, compared to Todd, I don't use nearly as many text boxes in the books. Todd likes to have a panel doing something, and then he'll write in a text box what's happening in the panel. It's like, well, we see that, but again, for some people, it's easier for them to read than to pick up. And so I understand that. I don't do that a lot. So sometimes if you see them, that might be like Todd actually added that one. He added that one box there for something. And then just like that, things have changed. If you go back to early Spawn stuff where Tom Warzakowski was hand lettering a lot, you notice there's a lot more sound effects. And now Todd is a lot more conservative with the lettering. We don't do a whole lot of crazy balloons. The tails, he likes them short and stubby, not dragging all over the book and intertwining sometimes. That's an art too. But right now Todd's I feel like it takes a little bit away from the art. I just want easy. And then same thing with sound effects. A lot of times if you look at our books, the sound effects are either monocolor or even just the outline of the word and transparent. So you see it, but it's not covering up any of the gunshot or the monster exploding or whatever. So it's phases. You look through it and you just go, oh, that's kind of what we're doing now. Writing, it's kind of all over. Liam, because that was such an oddball book in a good way. Liam was kind of given free reign, because Liam was a lot of this is historic. I did research for this, so he was kind of let Liam just go and say, cool, we're going to fix grammar, we're going to fix spelling. But he didn't really rewrite. He didn't do a whole lot of rewrite in Black Ritual, because a lot of times when he started to do that, I go, no, that's a real thing. That's a real book. Don't change the title. I'm referencing something real. So they don't say that. He would try to comic book it up a little bit sometimes. And I'd be like, that works there, and I'll keep it over here, but in this scene it has to be this. And that's what's so great about working with him. He'll always go, defend it. Why? And then I'll go, because this and this, because it's real and it's a book and it's a quote. And he'll go, There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
That makes sense to me. I'm absolutely fine with that. Like, he'll always listen. He's never going to go, I'm Todd, so you have to do what I say. He will always listen, whether we're talking about changing the logo color or this, what all of the staff, they get to go, well, this is why I did that. And this is why I feel it's right. He may not agree, but he will always listen and go, okay, yeah, all right, that's fine. Do it then. You know, that's incredible. Yeah. And I hear from some of the people, I hear from some of the creators that are working for the big two, and even some of the other not huge companies. And sometimes it's just like, it's my way or the highway. Like, this is how we're going to do it. And this came from top. And so you don't get to make that change, or you don't get to make that argument. And we're not like that.
Yeah. Which I love, right? Because it really limits the freedom of some of these stories to gain legs and really take you to probably a place the writer had the intentions to get there. When you have too much people, I think, adjusting the story, at the end of the day, as a writer, you never really got to tell your story, right?
Yeah.
Which is a little frustrating, I would think. You talked about cinema. This is from Keybar. You talked about cinema. Is there any movie type storytelling you try to implement into the comic medium?
You know, it's tough. And Todd and I have had quite a few conversations about that. Again, I think, to me, cinematography is something that I always take a good look at when I'm watching a movie. I want to see a lot of camera movement. And I've talked to artists about that too. You don't think about camera movement, but if you're looking at a page and it's got talking heads, which in Sam and Twitch, there's a lot of pages where they're sitting in the car, or they're sitting in the desks, and you got to still make that interesting. And that's not just making the backgrounds interesting. You have to move the camera around. And Greg Capullo was an absolute master at that. It could just be people sitting there talking, even though one of them is Spawn, he'd constantly have the camera angles top down, showing the alley, you know, close up of the heads, pulled back of them in silhouette. So you feel like the camera's moving, but you can't really do that and move the camera. So you've got to use kind of a combination of that with the artist. And I typically don't try to give that interaction too much to the artist, because I'm not the artist. But if I feel like, because then sometimes the EIC kicks in, if I feel like, hey, this series of panels, like, man, everybody's head's the exact same size in every panel. Like, you got to do a little zoom in and zoom out. Let's just make this a little bit more interesting. And the other thing is, knowing where your book page turns are really important. And I didn't know this until I started working here. We don't put any ads in the books in between the book, in between the comic. So yeah, we have a couple of McFarlane Toys ads at the back of the book. But if you read like a Marvel or a DC book, sometimes there's an ad right in the middle.
Yeah.
Sometimes they even do those half page ads, which are super weird.
Yeah.
Or they do an ad that looks like a comic page. So now you're like, you're flipping through and the Avengers are about to fight, you know, Darkseid, and then all of a sudden Batman's eating a Twinkie. And you're like, where was that, a Bat Twinkie? Like, where did that? And then you realize this is an ad for Hostess, but the art looks just like the rest of the book. So you're just like, what is going on?
What the heck happened right now?
So we always know where the page breaks are.
Yeah.
So like I started to learn that as you're going through, you know where your double page spreads are. You know it's always going to be an even and an odd page. But I like to pace stuff out so you're not doing the big reveal. You're not doing necessarily the hero shot on the page on the right. I want it on the page turn.
Yeah. Because
that's the cutaway. If you're watching a movie, that's going to be the camera panning to the heroine, or even if it's you know, if you're watching Xena Warrior Princess, it's gonna pan to the guy and his face is gonna go wide, like, and then it zooms around and you see the hero, you see Xena looking badass, sword covered in blood, holding up the Gorgon's head or something. I want that to be on the page turn.
Yeah.
So when I write stuff, I picture that. I'm playing that out like a movie in my head. And to give a good example, I think it was issue 5. It's where or maybe it was 4. It's where Nyx ends up in the Ivory Conclave.
Oh yeah.
And not just being at the Ivory Conclave, the location of the Ivory Conclave of where they were. And I knew I had to save that shot for the page turn.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I told my wife that. I said, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. Like, Todd might veto this. Todd might just say, and if we're going to spoil this for the chat, I apologize, because I think Tommy's looking for it.
Yeah.
This is a couple of months old, so this is on you. This is on you.
Exactly.
So the Ivory Conclave, this is a book that's Spawn, and while we've hinted a few times about there being aliens, and I think Monolith was established as being from another planet from far, far, far in the future, there's not been a lot of space sci-fi stuff, and there's not any really sci-fi stuff in Black Ritual either, other than the fact when she has to find this group of witches, and she goes through this doorway.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God, where the hell am I? And she's on the fucking moon.
Yes.
And I was so excited to do that. And when I told Todd, I'm like, he's like, what is this page supposed to be? Because we got it in black and white at first. So you didn't get the blue and the green.
Okay.
I'm like, that's the moon. And he literally was like, so she's just walking around the moon. I'm like, well, she's got a magic necklace.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
I wouldn't just send her there. I know how the moon works. But I really, really wanted to do that to reveal, just to kind of expand the universe a little bit and be like, no, there's a reason. Let's think about this. Why would witches dance around in at night? They dance around under the moon. So this is like the most weird, creepy, esoteric version of a witch cult that there is.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they just set up base on the moon and then cast a spell so nobody knows they're up there?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we even talked about like literally showing like one of the Apollo landers like right over there,
That'd be
like because
awesome.
they've been there for 100+ years, and but it's like none of that, nobody can see us. But then it was like, okay, now we're getting that, we're getting into that. Is it too corny? I thought it was cool, and I didn't want to go to corny, so we didn't.
Yeah.
But that's what that was about. And I remember, like, that's the cinematography of a comic book, is waiting for the page turn so you get the reveal. And then same thing with some of the hero shots. You know, we talked about early on where some of the characters were from other books. So there's this scene where she sees them and she's like, did they just try to banish me to hell? Those fucking bitches. And then so I told Matt, I was like, the page 20, like, I want that Terminator just landed.
Yes.
In 1986 Los Angeles look, where like it's Nyx, she like figured out how to teleport back.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and then it's just like there's not going to be, and then Tom was like, should we put like her saying a bunch of stuff? I'm like, no, I don't think she does. I think she's just pissed off right now.
Just
so I really kind of just like that hero shot.
Yeah.
Of her again. So you see where she is and you see the characters and you're like, oh, hey, look, it's Shirley and the Stranger. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Stranger, Bloodroot. I love it, man. That's what I was looking at. And then you kind of mentioned too, is this the dialogue that he was saying that, what is that for? And you're like, that's actually real.
No, all my back matter, he's always really, really cool. He doesn't care about any of that.
Yeah.
But all of those quotes for every issue, those are from real magical texts. Those are from real grimoires. I didn't make those up.
Yeah.
Those are from actual books that I own, that some of the rituals talked about here. Like there's a symbol in that issue that you were just holding where she gets banished to hell. There's a sigil that the witch conjures and kind of sends towards her. The Aradia, that's a real book.
Yeah.
And the whole thing, I thought I might have had it on my desk, but I don't have it right now. I put it back in my bookshelf. But yeah, so like most of the sigils we used, all of the books, the spells, the quotes, the back and forth when she's sitting there and they're trying to open the door to go to the Ivory Conclave. There's a kind of a back and a forth question and answer.
Yeah.
Thing, and that's all real.
Yeah. That I assume that just from your social media. I've seen some of the books that you do have that I think you were utilizing. So I'm like, as I'm reading it, because I'm not super familiar with that part, I'm like, I bet you Thomas is actually referencing real books that he actually has. I was like, oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that, as weird as that sounds, I always kind of tag it, occult books. I've actually had quite a few people that are from my social media circle, not people that I know as a friend, but people that I know online that couldn't give two shits whether or not I'm a comic book guy or not.
Yeah.
But when I posted stuff, or then they, maybe they picked it up, but I had several people that had reached out and been, that I don't know, that were like, did you actually use Enochian as the font for the witches. I'm like, yeah. They're like, that's crazy. Like, and I had to tell Todd because he was like, oh, let's use a different font. I'm like, no, it's a real font. It's a real, it's the language of the angels. He's like, what? I was like, it was found by Dr. John Dee in the 1500s when he communed with it. He's like, what? I'm like, just, it's real. All right. I'm not asking you to believe, man. I know your thoughts on all of this. There's a reason why God and the devil are both the bad guys in the Spawn universe. Just let me do this. But I've had people do that. Same thing with like the first issue. I did a quote from the Azawetia, which is a grimoire by Andrew Chumley, who is unfortunately no longer with us. And I had somebody that reached out and direct message was like, did you actually put a quote from the Azawetia in a Spawn comic book? I'm like, I did. He goes, did you find that online? I'm like, no, I have a copy. He's like, holy shit, how the fuck do you have a copy of that? Sorry if I'm cursing.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm like, my wife's amazing, and that was a birthday gift for me one year.
That is cool.
Because it's a very rare, very, very expensive book. And so every one of those was a real quote from a real book that I own. And then I like doing I like back matter. Mm-hmm. I like getting a little stuff from your book. Yeah. So I was doing playlists. That was the fun thing I was doing.
Like, I saw that too. Yeah.
I would track playlists. So like this is what I was listening to while I was, and I hope some people actually bothered to listen to it. And it's probably not everybody's cup of tea, and it's not the music that I always listen to either. Yeah. But it's music that I was listening to get in the vibe. For my Sam and Twitch stuff, I listen mostly to kind of like dark jazz.
Yeah,
I kind of like that, like
jazz playing in the background for Sam.
Yeah, like man, when he's driving around moping, it's raining in New York City. It's like 2 a.m. And he's just listening to some like John Coltrane.
Yeah,
he's not. It's not. He's not a Backstreet Boy guy. I don't think. Yeah. So music is important. It gets me in the mood. It gets me in the mind frame for certain things, especially coming up with certain scenes.
Yeah, I love it. All that comes through, Thomas, man. So congrats on that, man. I think Jeff's trying to start something. Who would win in a fight, Todd or Jim Lee?
The audience.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Let's make a pay-per-view for charity. Exactly. That's a couple of $1 million going towards the comic book relief fund or whatever. So I'll just leave it at that. Though Todd is still in exceptional shape.
Incredible shape.
But I mean, Jim doesn't look like he's let himself go either.
No.
Actually, I think like all the Image founders are like pretty good shape guys.
Agreed.
Like they all look like they'd still be able to scrap. I mean, Eric Larson's just massive.
Yeah, he's
just a big deal. Same thing with Mark Silvestri. Mark's a giant.
He's like 6'5", 6'7".
Yeah, I feel like if those two just teamed up, like they would just be throwing people to the ground.
I just had Mark on 2 weeks ago because of the relaunch of The Darkness, and one of the questions I asked, and a lot of fans want to see, is some sort of Darkness Spawn crossover. I don't know if that's been talked about. I mentioned it to him, and he goes, "Well, I talk to Todd all the time. Maybe we can make something happen." Like if you go to Reddit and you go through some of the Spawn,
I know.
A big topic, and I'm for that too. Like we got to bring those characters together somehow.
So we did this is before we did any of the new books, before King Spawn, Gunslinger, and Scorched. We were just talking, and I had this idea, and I was like, I want to do a crossover with some of the Image founders characters. Mm-hmm. Can we get their buy-in? And Todd's like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, I think we need to let's go back and just do actually, I was wrong, because the new books had just come out. That's what it was. Oh. And so they were only on issues maybe like 5, 6, 7 or something. But I wanted to have like Savage Dragon show up in Spawn, and I wanted trying to remember everybody who was going to be in all of the books. And so then there's Savage Dragon, there was going to be Darkness, there was going to be Witchblade, there was going to be, who else is still around? Shadowhawk.
Oh yeah, Shadowhawk would be dope.
Yeah, so they were each one was going to show up in a different, and it was going to be kind of like hey, there's a thread running through them. You don't have to read them all, but it was really kind of cool to put them all there. And then the last thing I was going to do is there was still going to be someone showing up in Scorch, but then I wanted to do a Witchblade She Spawn one shot that would finish the story, and it would just be Jessica and Sarah.
That would be dope.
And
that would be dope.
we we Todd liked the idea. He actually
Yeah.
thought it was really, really cool. And I guess he reached out to Mark, and that's when Mark told him, "Oh, we're actually going to be relaunching those next year." So he's like, "I don't want to do anything yet."
Yeah.
So it might actually be worth revisiting.
Actually, the timing right now, Thomas, might be right because Todd just announced, I think it was at New York Comic Con, that he also is doing some action figures of some of the
The
Image
early universe stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. So that would be a great time to tie in some comic books that do kind of have a thread through all of those. I know Sarah's going to be one of them. Savage Dragon's one of them. I can't remember some of the other ones. I could look it up, but I think that would be dope, man.
Yeah, I really want to do, because I know like the current Savage Dragon is Malcolm, is not the original
it
Savage
is.
Dragon, it's his son.
Right.
And I really kind of wanted them to be like, Spawn shows up in Chicago for whatever reason. They fight. And I kind of wanted to have just a line at the end of that issue where he just, as Spawn's leaving, because he doesn't give a shit about anybody.
Yeah.
And I just wanted him to turn around and go like, "Hey, I knew your dad."
Yeah.
And he'd be proud. And that's it. And then have Malcolm be like, "Yeah, fuck you, dude."
That's like a Rocky. I got chills, man.
Yeah, but I just thought like it would just be a nice little nod to like,
Yeah,
we're not addressing any early Image continuity in this story, but we'll give that little nod to the fans. But like,
yeah,
we got you. Just like the nod we did on Spawn 370's cover, which just came out, which had the Youngblood tie-in. We got a call from Image, and they said, "Hey, we're doing Youngblood's coming back, and we're going to try to get a bunch of people to put Youngblood characters on the covers. If we get Spawn's buy-in, it usually helps us sell that to a lot of the other books that maybe go, we have no relation to Department of Truth. It has no relation to Youngblood. What do we care?" But if Todd does something, a lot of people will join.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Can you talk to Todd and see if we can get that?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. Let me think of something." And I had that idea originally because, man, I still see this on all the groups. Chapel should be the guy that killed. Oh, I don't like that they retcon that. It's like, well, we couldn't use the character anymore. Like, what do you want us to do? Like, the character, we can't use the character.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, I love Jessica Priest, and I'm glad she's the one that did it. Unpopular opinion, maybe, but it's mine.
Yeah.
So I had that idea. I was like, it's Al, from his military days, and Chapel and Jessica are both behind him. And then I was like, I want to go old school and actually put some balloons on this. And I'm going to have the joke because everybody's like, and so it's basically him going like, I'm going to kill you. And she's like, no, you're not. I'm going to do it. He's like, no, I'm supposed to. She's like, not anymore, buddy. And so I was like, I want to do this. And then I reached out and I said, hey, Brett, do you want to do this? Yeah. And he goes, oh, I would love to do that. I would love to do that. So we got that idea, and I was still like, I got to pitch this to Todd.
Yeah.
And so I pitched it, and I gave him the whole spiel with the idea and the dialogue, and he actually went, "That's actually pretty funny," because I know people complain to me all the time about Chapel not being the one that killed Spawn anymore. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, but we can't use Chapel, and they don't get that.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's actually kind of a fun joke. I think Rob will appreciate that. And we did it, and I only found out afterwards that apparently Rob and Brett are not friends.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I guess, yeah. I looked up, and I guess there was a YouTube video where Rob said some stuff. I don't know. I don't talk to him.
Rob's a little bit of a loose cannon sometimes,
He's a loose cannon, but that's why people love him. So.
Exactly, yeah, for sure.
But yes, so when we did that, and then that got announced, I remember the day that Image put them all out, and there were some amazing covers. Yeah. There were some absolutely spectacular covers. But I was just going through the comments, and there were a ton of comments like, yo, that Spawn cover's hilarious. Like, people were like, is that like a diss? Like, no. It's just something fun for the hardcore continuity fans. Yeah. In fact, I believe, if I remember correctly, and Jeff can correct me, when I had that idea, because Jeff's one of my sounding boards for like just comic book fandom, because he's a really good artist. He's a great artist and a really good friend. And I think we share a lot of the same sensibilities. So I actually called up Jeff and I said, dude, is this cover going to work? Like, this is my idea. Is this going to work? Yeah. And he's like, dude, that's actually really funny. I think you got to do that. I think you got to do that. So I actually talked to Jeff about it before I talked to Todd about
it. That would be absolutely dope, man.
Yeah.
That would be dope, man.
So yeah, so people seem to dig that. So I like having a little bit of a lighthearted take on Spawn sometimes. Sometimes you just kind of let, especially with the amount of passion in this fan base.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. You know, I've had Rodney Barnes on, and he had a couple issues. I can't remember what issues they were, where Spawn made an appearance, and we were
In
kind of
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, which
Yeah.
was phenomenal, by the way. I love Philadelphia. And he was talking about the usage of Spawn, and now we have in the Massiverse medieval Spawn, who is in a big plot line. This is like I feel like it's one of the largest plot lines where Spawn has been used in multiple issues. Can you kind of talk about how often, like, it seems like Todd is more willing to allow it to happen than he has in the past, where Spawn makes an appearance in other titles? Is that something new, or
it is something new?
Yeah.
Todd is very, very protective of
sure.
the Spawn IP.
As he should be, right? I mean, that's his baby.
So yeah, so Rodney came to us, and Philadelphia is a phenomenal book.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and I got to be on the call and got to meet Rodney and talk to him, and I knew Jason quite well. He was the artist on the book when I first started there. And I feel like without Jason's involvement on that, I don't think that necessarily would have happened. Not for any negative reasons towards Rodney or Philadelphia, but just because Todd is very, very protective of what can and can't, or what he's comfortable with people doing with or without Spawn. So the fact that this was Spawn showing up and not just being a cover appearance, this was a situation where we had multiple phone and Zoom conversations about it, where he wanted to know what's the plot line. And then there was a lot of like, okay, this is what you can't do.
Yeah.
This is what you can do with Spawn. And again, with Jason being involved, I think he knew that he was going to be, cognizant of what Todd wanted. So that happened. And I think that worked out really, really well. And then we did, so they did this Rogue Sun Gold, like 2 years ago. And that team reached out to me and they said, hey, look, we just want to do a fun, it's just like a cameo, like doesn't affect the story. It's just, we have this character named Rogue Sun, and she's from the medieval times, and she's dead, and they're going to send her body back. And we just thought it'd be really fun if there's a scene where medieval Spawn picks her up and he says, come sister, we're going to give you the burial that you deserve. Yes. And then it just shows him carrying her body on like his big white steed into the sunset. And I thought it was a really cool idea. And Eric Stevenson, I know, is really open to doing fun things at Image, and Massiverse is becoming a big thing. So it's like they're building their own little universes. So why not say maybe these are all slightly connected? So that was me going to Todd multiple times and him going, no. Yeah. And then I go back, but it's just like it's medieval. It's not even Al. Like, and finally he was like, all right. And then right after that was like pulling teeth. And then not 2 weeks after that, I get a call from Tim Seeley, who I've known for years because we're both two big He-Man nerds.
Yes.
And so we used to go to the He-Man convention in Torrance, California every year together. We'd be there. But anyway, and he's like, hey, I want to use a character in my book, Local Man. We're doing a special, and we're bringing back all these like weird side Image characters that were never like the big ones.
Yeah.
They're all like the weird ones, like Fire Breather and so just some of these really, really, really awesome characters. Yeah. And I go, oh, and I told him, I was like, Tim, like we just had to fight tooth and nail for this Philadelphia thing. And then we had the Rogue Sun and medieval Spawn. I was like, what character do you want to use? And he goes, Boof. Like, wait, what? He's like, so my artist, Tony Fleeks, is a huge Boof fan. Yeah. And we want to use Boof. And I'm like, I don't even know who Boof is. And then if you've ever seen a picture of my desk in my office, I've got these archives that it's every issue. And I'm like, Boof. I found it. I'm like, oh, there's a little weird alien character named Boof. All right, Todd did that. It was a fun book. So I think Todd wrote it and somebody else drew it and whatever. But Tony was a huge fan of this, and he wanted to use Boof. So I go into Todd's office and I'm like, hey, I got another request for another character that they want to use in another book. And he's like, oh, he went, ugh. Eric's got to stop telling people this is okay. What do they want to use? And I go, it's for that book, Local Man. It's about the superhero, but like it has a lot of ties to classic 90s
for sure
vibe.
And if no one's read Local Man, it's phenomenal.
Oh, it's phenomenal. Yeah. It's phenomenal. And he goes, Oh yeah, Eric said a lot of good things about that. He goes, I haven't read it, but Eric's saying it's doing really well for us. I'm like, yeah. He's like, so who do they want to use? I'm like, they want to use Boof. And Todd went, what? Boof? Yeah, I don't give a fuck. They can use Boof. I thought you were gonna say Spawn.
Dude, you did a perfect impression of Todd, the voice and everything.
I've had a lot of years to practice. So yeah, so I got to call them back and be like, yo, you can use Boof. And then he's like, yeah, here's a list. And then I'm like, bro, Street Angel's in the book? Like, oh, I fucking love Street Angel. So he's like, dude, yeah, Street Angel and Boof are gonna be like best friends. I'm like, I'm so glad I fought for this.
Yeah.
So I absolutely loved that book, and I loved that one shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was so fun. So those are the big ones.
Yeah.
And it's not common. It's still not. And so we got another call from Kyle over at the Massiverse.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, can you get on a call with me? Like, I want to pitch something pretty big deal. And so they pitched that mini series. That's that mini series, the one shot where Medieval Spawn's actually kind of playing a role. Yeah. And so like we went back and forth, and they showed us all the designs, and they gave us the script, and they gave Todd script approval, and it went off without a hitch. So is there going to be more? I hope so. If it's the right fit.
Sure.
If it's the right fit, I think so. So we'll see. But it's not that Todd's just open to it. It really has to be something special. And then when we got on the call with Ryan and Todd and myself and Ryan Parrott, the artist, they kind of were like, this is what we want to do. And Todd's like, well, what if we did this instead? He's like, cool. Yeah. You just let us know what you want. He's like, just, this is how we do it. And, he doesn't really do laser blasts. That's a Spawn, that's Al Simmons Spawn thing. Medieval's more like, he's just got his axe. He's got his sword, like he's going to be a more of a brutal fighter.
Yeah, he's a brute. Yeah.
Yeah. So they took copious notes, and we met again at San Diego Comic-Con to finalize some stuff. And yeah, I think it's going to be really awesome.
Yeah. I was talking to Ryan. He was on a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about that. And before we hit live, you and I were talking about the impact that just Image Comics in the 90s had on a lot of the writers that we see today. I mean, Tim Seeley, obviously, Ryan Parrott. I mean, you could go down a list of people who have had huge impacts. And obviously Todd is kind of at the forefront of some of the influence that a lot of these artists and writers have had. And the joy that Ryan had on his face, being able to say that he's been able to play around with one of these characters in his title. I mean, it was like proud papa moment for him. I think he was just so excited. I think it's everyone's dream, right? You have your favorite comic book growing up. You're like, man, if I could ever, write this character, this is what I would do. And then all of a sudden, 25 years later, you're writing a comic book and you're allowed to kind of play around with one of these figures. It's got to be surreal.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Man, so Thomas, you got your chance with NYX. You're obviously with the Sam and Twitch. Is there, like, if you could look through Spawn history, which you're amazing at, is there another character, like if you could get a chance, or would that reveal too much of maybe what you're working on? But is there like another character, like, I mean, if I get a chance to do just maybe a 6-issue arc, I would love to do something around this particular character.
Yeah, no, there's several characters that I would love to play with. I have in my mind a really badass haunt pitch.
Oh, I love it.
Which Todd knows I have, but I have not given it to him yet, because I know this is just not the right time to drop a new haunt book. But yeah, I have a really good haunt pitch. He's a character that I like quite a bit. One of the things that we don't necessarily have is we don't have our street level heroes. I want a Daredevil esque character of our universe. The guy that literally is like, I'm kind of like early Spawn. Like, I'm just in New York City.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not fighting vampires in Venice. I'm helping that old lady who just got mugged.
Yeah.
Like, I think to me, those kind of books are the most interesting. Daredevil, Moon Knight, those are always some of my favorite characters. And I enjoy that level of those. In the real world, though, I've got a character who I've pitched multiple times, a new character to the universe that Todd likes, and we're gonna use him at some point. but I would like to, in a perfect world, I would take that new character,
Okay.
put him in the Spawn universe. I still have a lot to do with explaining how magic and the occult works in the Spawn universe.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like nobody else really has a particular interest in exploring that. Todd's dealing just with heaven and hell.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to bring in that vibe, that corner of the universe, which is very much a part of the NYX story is.
Sure.
I had a lot of those ideas and some of those concepts long before Nat and I ever spoke about doing a NYX book. It was just I want to write this. I've always been a fan of like Doctor Strange and John Constantine, and those are those characters that I enjoyed, and so I wanted to do that. So it would be a new character, that would interact with a lot of the characters like NYX and perhaps even Cyan from Misery and all of that, and again be kind of like, yeah, I know that stuff with heaven and hell's going on, but that's not what's important to me right now. I've got my own issue over here. Yeah. That those people, they have no clue what's even going on.
Yeah.
They're fighting for whatever it is. They're two countries going to war, and I'm dealing with what's happening over here.
Right.
So that would be a big thing.
Yeah. Corey's asking, does everyone have a Todd impression in the office?
I can't answer that publicly.
Corey,
come on, man.
And dangerous questions, man.
I know a lot. I know a lot of people have a Todd impression. I'm pretty sure like almost all of the founders have impressions of each other.
For sure, 100%.
So and rightfully so.
And rightfully so. Yeah, and Daily Spawn Archive, inject that new haunt comic in my veins, Thomas. I love that idea, man.
If that ever gets improved, I will make sure to come to you, Tommy, so I can announce it on here.
Oh, that would be amazing. I don't know if I showed this to you last time, but this is from San Diego Comic-Con from 2 years ago.
Oh, did you get that?
I did.
Oh, nice.
So I need to get it signed by Kirkman.
Yeah.
So yeah, here's the haunt one.
Very cool.
Yes.
Yeah, I always wondered where all those ended up.
I got one of them, man. Came with about 8 signed books from Todd, and Todd threw a bunch. I got the music album from the movie signed by him, and it came with a bunch of stuff, man. I was pretty excited. My wife was flipping out how much I spent on it, but I was so excited to have a piece of that history, man. So I get that. I'm all for some more of that.
No, that was cool. I think they're doing that again for this year's booth.
They are.
Yeah, that was a weird night because I was there was something I wanted to watch on. It's weird sound. I'm going to tell this weird story. There was something I wanted to watch on television. I don't remember what it was. And I'm watching it, and my wife is sitting on her phone next to me watching the live stream. And I'm like, and they were all at the office doing it, and this because it was like 6 or 7 o'clock. And she's going like, oh, hey, are they going into your office? I'm going like, oh no. There's so much like valuable stuff in there, and there's a lot of stuff that's mine that's not Todd's, but a lot of times he just assumes everything is all mine. It's all my stuff. It's all my memorabilia. I'm like, no, that's mine. I bought that. I paid my money for that. And they were selling, I think it was the 170, it was either 174, 175, the Greg Capullo Gunslinger. It's the yellow cover. Yeah. So that was one of the panels. So they were selling that, and Todd walked into my office and he found the issue in the archive sleeve, and he's going, and if anybody wants it, if you buy this, I'm giving you this issue. I'm going to sign it, and I'm going to give you the issue right out of my archives. And I'm going, we only have one of those. And I'm texting Bonnie, his assistant, who I knew was the one holding the camera, going, please get him out of my office. He's giving away stuff he should not be giving away. And then I got a text back. She's like, I'm so sorry. I'll tell him not to go in there again. And then he's tried to get in there again to pull something else out, and she told him no. So he gave away first appearance 174 signed along with the big booth fabric. And so I see him that next Monday. I'm like, did you take a comic out of that? He's like, yeah, I was just one of them. I'm like, you realize that's like an $800 comic? He's like, what? Like it's the first appearance of the Gunslinger Spawn. He's like, no, Angel drew him. I'm like, no, I get there's 119.
Yeah.
This is the first full appearance. How everyone's going to argue this? I was
Because
like,
he's only in a panel in 119, right?
yeah, he's just in the one panel, and I was like, and like that. This was super low print run for this era of books. There were a lot of delays, and I was like, you gave away an $800 comic. He's like, oh man, I didn't know that. I'm like, yeah, now I got to get that. I got to buy one. It's going on the corporate card. You realize that, right? Because I need to have we all have digital copies, but sometimes you need a physical thing to look at something, and it's just easier. So luckily, I was able to go to a local shop here that is a huge Spawn fan and has a ton of stuff, and he gave me a very good deal for a reader copy that we have gotten back. But I do remember when I submitted my expense report, I did get questioned. I got queried. So what is this purchase at this comic book store for like $350? I'm like, oh, you could ask Todd about that. I was replacing something he gave away for free.
He does, like in the video, he just gets up and he goes, you hear him thumbing through things, he's talking in the background. And so I assumed, I didn't know he was in your office, but
they did another live stream at another point in time where again he went into the office and he just grabbed a book, something CGC'd, I think. And I'm going, Bonnie, that is mine. Like that's my book, that's mine.
I bought that. That's my collection.
Yeah, that's my stuff. So he knows he's not allowed to go into the office and give stuff away.
That is hilarious, Thomas. That is so funny, though. Not for you at the moment, but now hopefully you can laugh at it. But yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, no, but it was funny because I'm sitting there and my wife's like, I think he's going into your office. Like, oh no, let me see this phone. Oh God, he is. So.
Yeah, Todd pulls it's better than permission after going in. Touche, Thomas, I guess, huh?
I brought it upon myself. Daily Spawn Archive is speaking the Lord's truth right there.
Exactly. Well, Thomas, I want to be super respectful of your time. I can't tell you how much I appreciate whenever you say yes, that you're willing to come on, man. I absolutely enjoy our conversations, man. I know Daniel is an absolute encyclopedia, but I throw you up there as well, my friend. I feel like we could ask any question and you're probably going to know around about the time frame whenever that question takes place. And I appreciate it. I'm so happy for you that this side that you've been probably sitting on for a long time can now be released as a writer and creator. So I'm super happy that you've been able to do that. And I'm all in for it, man.
Yeah, no, it's cool. This is my first stuff at a major publisher.
Yeah,
I've done some anthologies before. I self-published some books. I was actually in Santa Fe. I think I was talking to Irene about and Raymond about one of the books I did years and years ago, which I should probably bring back. It was called Big White and Little Brown: Action Bears, Bears of Action.
No way.
And it's a little brown bear and a big white bear, and they're bears in Griffith State Park, which is in California.
Yeah.
And a spaceship crash lands, and the bears come across it, and inside it they find a little baby, the last survivor from a dying planet. And in true bear fashion, they eat the baby. But because he was alien, they become sentient.
Oh, that's dope.
So they're still bears. They still look 100% bears, but they're sentient, and they decide they're going to become crime fighters in LA. But they're really bad at it because they're bears and they have no money. And people just think that bears are mauling people to death, not stopping muggings. So yeah, it was a little bit.
Chris Farley, what was that ninja movie that he did? Something like that.
Yeah, they like one of them is the gadget one, and he's creating all these gadgets. Like he takes a stick and he puts fishing line on the end of it, and then he puts like poison ivy on it so you can whip people in the face with poison ivy. And they're harvesting bees and making like these little grenades, which are tiny beehives to throw at criminals. Like they're just really bad at it.
I think you should definitely bring that back, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring that back. That's the comic I'm sneaking into the Spawn universe.
There you go. Can you imagine?
It's gonna be a crossover with Witchblade and Geiger.
Yeah,
and Action Bears. You heard it here first, people.
Heard it here first, people. Get ready.
Don't tell Jeff Johns or Mark Silvestri yet. They're gonna deny it, but that's only because of the NDA.
Exactly. Makes perfect sense. Man.
Yeah,
perfect sense. All right, Thomas, man, I really appreciate you. We'll be in touch. But I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Are you going to be at any shows at the beginning of the year? Do you have like a plan on with Image and the rest of the Todd group?
Other than the two big ones, obviously New York and San Diego. I'll be with Raymond at Southwest Creator Art Festival in Albuquerque.
Okay.
We're doing that. I think I'm talking to some people, Jonathan Uribe and potentially Raymond, potentially LaMoleCon in Mexico City.
Oh, nice.
So we'll see how the rest of the year plays out.
Yeah, Jonathan knows all the
Yeah.
hot spots to eat down there too, I assume.
Oh, I know. We were sitting there talking about food in Santa Fe. He was
and
killing
Brett.
me. And Brett. That's right. Brett's going to be there at.
Really, Booth is going to be there in Mexico City too.
No, he's going to be at the Albuquerque show with us.
Oh, Albuquerque! No way.
Yeah. One of his very few con appearances.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him at a con before.
Yeah, I think he's only going to be there for Saturday. Yeah, he's just going to be in and out real quick. But that'll have that's a great show. It's a great small show. I think Aaron Campbell's going to be there. Andy Kuhn, it's some good people.
I'll have to check that one out then. Not too far.
Yeah,
day drive, but that's all good. All right, Thomas, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for joining me. Everyone in the chat, thanks for hanging out, man. This has been a blast, Thomas. I always have so much fun with you, man.
Thank you, Tommy. It's always a good time on whether it's me, you and Ty, or me, you and Mark. Always a great conversation. And chat, thanks for coming and hanging out. If there's any final questions,
let
me know.
Yeah. Here we go, Jonathan. We are down.
There we go.
Thank you, Corey, man. All because of you guys, man. I love the back and forth and the questions and all of that, man. And I appreciate all these amazing creators and artists from the Spawn universe hanging out with us today. That's been a blast having all of you, man. I'm just a kid in a cookie store, man, a candy store. I just love it, man. It's so fun to be able to do this. So,
well, if you ever get up to Phoenix, maybe we can do a live stream from the office.
That would be amazing. Yeah, you let me know when. I'll be there, my friend.
Right on,
Thomas. Well, I appreciate you. Have a good one, my friend. Everyone in the chat. Have a great night, safe week, and we will talk soon.
Pig taint.
Pig taint.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.